Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Pokemon Rejuvenation. Alright, today is going to be the day that we finally tell you how to get Debug. Now, there's a couple of methods. The main issue that I was waiting for was I was waiting for the final patch and the PVS files to get released. So, there's a couple of methods that we can do this. I'm going to show you the method that I recommend first, because obviously you're going to want Debug in other Pokemon games as well. So, my method is getting RPG Maker XP. Now, this can be bought currently for $24.99. Now, if you don't want to pay $24.99, that's okay. If you usually wait till the holiday season, I believe it goes on sale for like $5 or $10 instead. So, if you have that, I highly recommend it, because if you want to do stuff like if you make a wrong decision at a quest, you want to reverse that decision, and you don't know how the switches and variables work, this will tell you basically how to do it. So, if you don't want to do it, that's fine. But the thing is, not every Pokemon game that you play is going to have a debug. You're going to have to either wait for somebody to make a debug for you, or you're just going to be shit out of luck. Now, so, for RPG Maker XP, since I already own it, all I'm going to do is I'm going to press Open Project. Now, if you do the RPG Maker XP method, you're going to need a file that is, hang on, let me see the type. It's a RPG XP project file. And you're going to need that to be inside the folder of whatever game you want to play, in this case, Rejuvenation. And all we do is we're going to click Open here, and then we're going to click Open there. And then it'll take us to Pokemon Rejuvenation. Okay, so if you go to your game file, whatever game you're trying to play, and there is no RPG XP file, and you don't have one on hand, you just need to create one. This is like your first time doing this, or you just don't have one, you just have to create one. So we're just going to X out of Open. We're going to go to this. Now we're just going to name this Game, like that. Next up, we are going to go to Open. Now we're going to take this folder. This is the RPG XP file. We're going to move this. Now, once you have this, you can move it anywhere you want. So we're just going to move this to Rejuvenation 13. It's in there. Now if we click this, it's going to open this game instead. It's loading from this game, is going to load up all of these audio, data, and graphics files instead of this one. Now this one, we can just now delete. We can just delete that folder. We don't need it anymore. Now if you want, then you could just move this, just this. You just need to move this file. Here's Rejuvenation. Okay, so here's Rejuvenation 11.3. Now we're just going to paste that there. Then we're going to open this one. Bam. So here is the old Rejuvenation files from a previous version. Now you can also do this with Reborn and all the other games too. So you just got to move that RPG XP file over to the other folder. Doesn't matter which one it is, just make sure that the audio, graphics, data, all of those files are there, and it'll just load up the game with those instead. Now, you do not need the PBS files if you just want Debug. If you just want Debug, you already have it because you opened the game in RPG Maker XP. Now, you can either click this green play button right here, or you can press F12. That's the play test hotkey. Now, we don't need that. We can minimize. Do not close that. That will shut down your game. Now, we're going to do this. Now, as you can see, actually, in my folder, I do not have... Oh, wait, that's the wrong folder. As you can see, I do not have PBS lined up right now in my folder. Game's taking a while. Okay, now, as you can see, we have Debug, so we can do switches, variables. I highly recommend you don't do that if you do not have RPG Maker, because you can really screw up your save file doing this. You can still warp, you can still add items, add Pokemon, you can do all of this sort of stuff. You also have the debug from your party. You also have the debug from your PC. Right there. You can do it like that as well. The only thing you cannot do is you cannot mess with the encounters. You can't mess with a lot of other stuff like the trainers and stuff. Doing this, like here, Residential District, I'll change a Clauncher to a Clawlitzer. Game crash. You need PBS files if you want to do that. Now, not all games are going to have PBS files either. Those are basically released based on the dev's own opinion on it. Now, thankfully, since Jan is a god, you can look up PBS files. They're right here on the Reborn site, right here on our good old download page for patch 1305. It's only a few megabytes. Then I already downloaded them, and you can just right click them once you put them into the Rejuvenation folder, and you can just say extract here. We're just gonna do this. This contains basically all of the custom stuff for the game. I highly recommend, if they are available, you do use them. Otherwise, just use the game. Just use Debug to modify your Pokemon stats. If you don't want to grind out for some max IVs or something, or do EV training, that's okay. And then just play the game normally. But these contain all of the meat and potatoes for the game, including encounters. So now we can edit the encounters, but we will have to reload in here. Okay, next up. If you don't want to use RPG Maker, entirely, that's okay as well. So, the way to do that is you would have to wait for another person to basically they would have to go into the game files in RPG Maker. They would have to set the scripts up. Oh, the scripts, I don't have the scripts. And then, but technically, there are plenty of places that we can do that. So I have this one right here. This is a person in our community that has given us a debugger. And we're just going to download that. Okay, now it's here. Okay, so first off, as you can see, if we load up the game now, if we're loading it up without RPG Maker, I could just close that, it's not going to have debug. As you can see, there is no more debug. Now, what we're going to do is we're just going to take this, debug. Okay, so data and debug mod.txt. So that's all it is. We're just going to extract here. Okay, we're just going to refresh to make sure it shows up. Debug. Now we're just going to take these two. We're going to cut. I prefer to cut. You can also just click and drag. I'm just going to paste right into the Rejuvenation folder. Just like that. Now, since it didn't ask me if I wanted to replace anything here, that's okay. If it did, you would still say, if it asked you if you want to replace a file, because you already have something in there with the same names as those things, just say yes. It's okay. Next up, we're just going to load up the game again. And this time, debug should be enabled, because it's in our data folder now. There it is. Now, you would still need PBS files if you want to modify encounters in the area. So, remember to be very careful whenever you do use debug, because you can mess up your game, and when you do, don't complain to me, and sure as hell do not complain to any developer, okay? They do not need to take your shit. Be very, very careful. That was all I'm going to stress. Hello, Bianca. Okay. I believe that's all I wanted to get through here today. So I'm going to leave the web pages for the debug in the description for you guys. Just be very careful whenever you do debug. Right here. You may break the game. Proceed at your own risk. Well, I think that's going to be all for today. And hopefully that's going to be all. Hopefully people will stop asking how to get debug. Because sometimes the debug will come. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to subscribe if you're new. I think this is going to be the end of Pokemon Rejuvenation. Unless a certain mod gets updated. I haven't seen that it's been updated yet, but I'm gonna check it frequently, just in case, because it's a very, very good mod that I suggest everybody brings with them into the game. So that's gonna be all for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to subscribe if you're new. Thank you guys so much for all your support on all my other videos so far, and I hope to see you guys again next time.